The question is, what is the best way to administer sound environmental policy? And right now, we have an EPA that fails to do the things that they should be doing, and then does a whole lot of stuff that they shouldn't be doing. You know, I mean, the U.S. Commission on Human Rights came out with a report that said on issues of environmental justice, where pollution is disproportionately impacting communities of color, the EPA has been feckless in being helpful. Meanwhile, I got a guy in Blackman, Florida, who went to widen his cattle pond and ended up with, like, you know, a dozen EPA regulators chasing him around wanting a watershed assessment, and you know, exactly, hundreds of thousands of dollars for the guy. And I'm thinking, you know, what sense does that make? You look at the Superfund program. Okay, the Superfund program is where, you know, you have an abandoned gas station or a toxic area. We go in, we clean it up, we make it better, turn it into a community asset. You know, that program has got more workers sick than it has improved health outcomes for the people we were trying to help. And that was a result of the EPA's own look at the program. Meanwhile, we have a brownfield program at the state of Florida that I helped allocate money to that does the exact same thing in less time, more efficiently, and with better outcomes. And so, you know, we spend $8 billion a year on the EPA, $8 billion. And if we took that money and we downstreamed it to states and local communities to administer strong federal standards, I think we'd get a lot more out of it. And I don't think when it comes to the environment, we're going to regulate our way to environmental purity. I think we have to innovate our way there. And who are you betting on to come up, you know, to come up with the next brilliant microbiologic that will clean up oil spills? An EPA regulator or a professor at the University of Florida? You know, and so if we funded more research grants, then we'd actually innovate better, and we wouldn't have to be chasing around my friend and his cows, you know, in Blackman, you know, and so. You know, I think I've heard a lot of folks, oh, Matt Gaetz, you hate the environment. No, it's that it's all, we all share the same values, wanting to make sure we have a preserved environment. The question is, what is the most efficient way to deliver that environmental protection? And I've lost confidence in the EPA. I think you got to pull that weed up from the roots and say, okay, what are the national standards that matter to us for clean air, clean water? And by the way, like, we're not just going to trust Alabama to police themselves. You still have the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Interior, the Department of Justice that all have jurisdiction. My lawyer friends in the room know a great deal about legal standing and the importance of standing to bring actions. Well, under the Endangered Species Act and the Clean Water Act, groups like the Sierra Club, the Everglades Foundation can step forward and say, I want an injunction against them because they're not following the Endangered Species Act. And they can go get pretty quick resolution of those things. So that's kind of the mosaic of enforcement options that would exist without having an $8 billion bureaucracy.